We're taking a quick look at BLU's Win HD, their new Windows phone that goes for $180. Hey everybody, Daniel Rubino here, Windows Phone Central, and I'm going to give you guys a quick look here at the BLU Win HD. It's a brand new Windows phone available in the United States for once, so we're getting something early. It's made by a company called BLU. They're based out of Miami, Florida. They typically make Android phones, budget Android phones I should say, but they're one of the few OEMs who have jumped on the Windows Phone bandwagon and are now converting their devices to Windows Phone, and they sell them at a pretty affordable clip. So you can see here I have the BLU Win Junior, which I did an unboxing on hands-on a couple weeks ago, so you might want to compare that. This is an $89 Windows phone, and it's actually pretty solid considering you get a lot of cool stuff there, including that flash for the camera and a front-facing camera, something that Nokia tends to omit. But the BLU Win HD is a step up from the Win Junior and comes with some better specs, and yet a still affordable price tag at $179. You can buy it on Amazon.com and other retailers, and Microsoft will be selling it pretty shortly. You can see this one comes in the bright yellow color, although there are even I believe there's 3 other options you can get, including a pretty bright pink one. Phone comes in your little bag here, which is pretty nice, and you even get their little registration sticker thing. And we'll peel this off here. Well, you can look at the specs, I suppose. So it's a pretty impressive device. Well, all but one thing, which is this, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 200. So that's the exact same processor found in the Win Junior, and that's probably going to be the one bottleneck of this device is that not only is a 1.2 gigahertz quad core not the fastest, but the Snapdragon 200 also has a slower GPU for graphics. Having said that, this is why they can make the phone quite affordable. And to be honest, Windows Phone actually does pretty well, especially at the 1.2 gigahertz range. But if you're expecting games and everything, you know, you can still play them on here, but you're not going to get the best performance. I think, though, comparatively, it still does all right. More importantly, though, because this is a 720p screen, so they call it HD display, but it's actually 720p, not at 1080, but it's definitely better than, you know, the 480 type displays. You're pushing more pixels, and so I expect performance to be not as good as, say, the Win Junior, because you're doing a lot more here with the graphics. You do have here on the back an 8 megapixel camera, which is actually pretty solid for a budget device, and you get a flash as well, which is really good. You get a 2 megapixel front facing camera, which is also pretty great. Of course, you get that 5-inch display, which is a good size for a budget phone. 8 gigs of internal memory, so not a lot, but this does have micro SD expansion, and with Windows 8.1, or what they're calling Windows 8.1, it's actually Windows Phone 8.1, but probably not for long. You can install apps and games to that micro SD card, so basically you have infinite expansion. Having said that, they say it's only limited to a 32 gig card, and I have a hunch that's related to being a Snapdragon 200. At some point, I'll actually put a 64 gig card in there and see if I can see if it actually can go higher. Sometimes they say it can't do something, but it actually can. Let's pull this little sticker off, though, and we'll get going here at the device itself. Very thin, very light. Of course, I don't have the battery in there yet, but you can see that profile design is pretty awesome. It looks like the screen wraps around to the side, and it actually does, and that's just a faux design right there, but it does give a neat appearance. Nice bright yellow and curved edges there. Feels great in the hand. It also looks a lot like another HTC device. I don't suspect BLU was copying them at all. It's just total coincidence, I'm sure. But if you do like the HTC phones, obviously you're getting sort of that design here as well. There's your 3.5mm headset jack, micro USB plug. You have a power button. It's hard to see here, but there's a little power button right there. And your volume keys on this side. No camera button, being an Android phone, of course. And then it's clean at the bottom itself with your rear speaker. Let's go into the box and we'll show you some other things. Of course, you got the battery here. Battery is a decent 2200 milliamp size battery, not huge, not tiny, and considering you're powering a 1.2 gigahertz Snapdragon 200, I'm sure this will actually probably hold up pretty decently. Let's open this up, and now BLU's been really good as far as OEMs. I'm always impressed with what they include in the box. So you get your wall charger, of course, which you plug your USB cable into, which is found right here. So that's pretty standard. Everybody gets those. But look at this. You also get a nice pair of white headphones, which are actually pretty decent looking. I haven't tried these yet, but they're pretty good looking at least. And then you have the microphone and button here so you can answer calls. plugging right in. So, you know, that's actually, I remember when phones always came with headphones, and now they rarely ever do. Definitely not in the US for sure. So it's kind of cool that you're getting that. So for 179 bucks, you're getting the phone, you're getting your headphones included, and this is always a cool thing. They include a case, a nice little gel case that even matches the same color. Once again, you may not use this, but I think that's just awesome. They include this in there. I've never seen an OEM do it before. And, you know, for $179, you want to definitely protect your investment. And this looks like a pretty cool case. Gel, flexible, TPU type. Going in here, you also have your manuals and data information, which is pretty routine. And then they also do this, which I always find interesting. There is a screen protector. So included right in the box, custom made for this phone, of course, just a 5-inch one. And I should also point out that this phone actually ships with a screen protector on there, and you can almost kind of see it there in the reflection. There's some air bubbles in there, so when they put it on there, it's not the most perfect placement, but you can actually peel that off, and I've done that before with the Win Junior. It feels, I don't know, a little bit better. It's definitely, you know, these aren't the highest quality screens in the world. They catch fingerprints real easily. They're can get scratched pretty easily too, because this isn't Corning Gorilla Glass, and so that's probably why they're putting the screen protector on there. But you can peel it off if you don't like it, and if you change your mind, well, they gave you a backup. Let's pry it open here, and we'll show you. I like how they do this. They give you a little notch here, so you know where to do that. Now this back is very much like a Samsung back. It's flexible plastic, so it's not the premium material of metal or the polycarb. We're going to load the battery in here in a second, but I just want to show you the other cool thing here, of course, is this dual SIM phone. So you can put into SIM cards, rather. Now, I should point out, this does work on T-Mobile and AT&T, but you don't get LTE. So that's another limitation on this. I'm still waiting for the day for a dual SIM LTE phone. That'd be amazing. As such, you can only get a 4G HSPA Plus band on this. You reach those speeds, so you're not going to get you know, very fast data, but it's up to 42 megabits per second, which is supposed to be pretty decent. I know I'd still prefer LTE in this day and age, but we're talking about budget phones here, so still kind of cool though. Dual SIM, not big in the US dual SIM, but great option for users. There's that micro SD for expansion, so you can pop that in there and go up to your heart's content. Well, I guess in theory 32 gigs, but we'll see what that actually means. Putting the cover back on itself is not too bad. You gotta go through. It's just like a Samsung. You just gotta go through and clip it all on there. And there we go. Then hold the power button. And there, it's going to boot up now. And see, I got the microphone there and speakers, and it looks like an ambient light sensor as well. So I'm going to let this boot up, and we'll show you what Windows Phone's actually like on this. You know, it is a budget phone, so I'm not expecting streaming performance, but still, sharp looking device. It's the BLU Win HD. We'll return in a few seconds here and give you a tour of the OS. Okay everyone, we're back and the phone is completely booted up now, and I'm done setting it up. Pretty basic experience, and BLU doesn't do anything unique to Windows Phone. This is as vanilla of a Windows Phone OS as you can get. In fact, I had to pin the camera to the start screen, as there's no camera button on this phone, of course. That's the new thing with these OEMs. That's because this is a recycled Android design that they've used previously. And so there's no camera button there, so you got to use either the on-screen you know, camera app here, although I had to pin it myself to the start screen, which is sort of a weird user experience, right? Usually you'd want that front and center, which the other OEMs do. You could also alternatively put the camera app up here, and you got your nice little 4 rows there to customize those quick actions. But as you can see, the camera button is not actually up there yet, so I'd have to do that myself as well. Like I said, you get the power button up here. It feels pretty nice in the hand. That display is 720p, which is actually a nice improvement, but the one downside to that is the fact that this is running a Snapdragon 200 processor. You are pushing more pixels now with a slower GPU than other phones, and as a result, you know, things could be a little bit slower. It doesn't feel too bad, and I'm convinced that unless you are using this directly next to a flagship Windows phone with like a Snapdragon 800, after a while of using it, it's not nothing bad. It's only when you directly compare it, you're like, oh, that seems kind of slow. The buttons do not light up there at the bottom, as you kind of wouldn't expect it to. And then, of course, you do have Cortana on this because I'm in the US, so it's going to quickly set up. Overall, though, the speed is pretty decent. There are no unique apps to this. It does come with Windows Phone 8.1 build 12400, which actually, if I recall now, is well, I don't know if we can do folders. Let's see. No, you can't do folders on this. So this is not running the 8.1 update, of course. Although you can run the preview for developers on there and put the folders if you want to get ahead of it. And that's actually a good question because I don't expect customized firmware from BLU with this phone. Having said that, I'm not really sure what their update record is going to be for giving update 1 or update 2, and that does come later this year. So you may want to hop into that preview for developers program and add 8.1 in there yourself. And look at this. I was just talking about BLU's update history with Windows Phone. We don't actually know how often they're going to update their device. And within a few minutes, the phone actually just notified me there is an update from BLU. I don't know what this entails, so I'll follow up in the article itself. It could be just a firmware bump. It could also be the new version of Windows Phone OS. I'll let you know, though. But still, looks like they do deliver updates, so that's a good sign. Let's take a look here under Settings. Start theme. You got to choose photo. Let's see, for wallpapers they include the default pack basically that comes with Windows Phone. And for colors, you just have the default colors as well. They didn't add a customized OEM color, which some companies do. So like I said, it's a very vanilla device. The color is great, obviously. It's this bright yellow. It does feel good in the hand. You get those nice curved edges. I love the look of it. The way that screen wraps around the edge. Of course, it doesn't actually wrap around, but it gives that appearance. And it's definitely a sharp looking device. Very thin, also extremely light. I haven't really tried the camera yet as far as quality. I'm not expecting too much in the way of, being blown away here. You do go to the default camera app. And for some reason that just crashed on the first time. Let's see if I can. There we go. I guess it was just nervous for being run the first time. It's okay, camera app. But yeah, it's a pretty basic camera there. I'll put some samples up so you guys can get a better idea of how good it is, and we'll even take a look at maybe that front-facing camera as well. Pretty good device though for $180. You gotta admit, this is gonna be an affordable device that looks the part of a higher end phone, and I think that's really the nice thing here is this actually really looks like it could be a quality device for high-end users, but for those of you who are on a budget. So we're going to take a closer look at it, and we'll write it up on WP Central. You can ask questions and comments, and we'll do our best to try to answer those. But let us know what you think, and if you'd be interested in getting these. Now, BLU is pretty much only sells phones in the US, a little bit in South America, Latin America, and in Canada increasingly. But this design may go wider with other OEMs who tend to sometimes copycat each other. So there you go. Hit WP Central for more information and tell us what you think. Take care, everybody.